good morning, time to go. Got that smile upon my face, 'cause there's excitement in the chase, this I know. Yeah, I'm going for the ride and find myself, I am alive, and I saw.
I'm doing great. How are you doing? Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I watch your lives almost every day, and I thought, you know what? Yes, who do you have there?
This is Sweet Eve right here. We got Sweet Eve. We got Cinderella. We got Izzy. There's Hans over there. We got pigs everywhere.
Pigs everywhere. You know, Todd, I'm doing this as a fundraiser, and hopefully we can raise some money for you. I know you do this pretty well yourself, but I wanted to...
Oh, well, we can always take all the help we can get.
That's great. That's great. Hopefully we can get that done for you a little bit today. I don't know if you remember the first conversation that we had when I called Arthur's Acres. And I had actually seen Louie. You had just gotten Louie, and he was having, the chiropractor had come for a visit. And I called you and you explained it to me. I don't know if you remember this. And now I sponsor Louie and a couple of others.
Yeah, no, I do.
I think people would find it interesting if you could sort of reiterate today. Here's my kitty cat, by the way, my big Jax, who was just in my... what you said to me that day was so touching about how this has changed your life.
Well, it just, in caring for these animals, it just reminds you of being selfless and, how they motivate you just to do better. Unfortunately, the way we look at pigs and animals in general in society is really pretty sad. So, I go live a lot. I do a lot of videos, just putting myself and the animals out there so people kind of get discovered that, they have individual personalities. They want to live. They feel pain. They feel happiness. They feel depressed. They get excited. They do the similar emotions to us. So I try to show them in the same light. Louie's right over here. Louie's our little, miracle boy. We hope he's going to Cornell tomorrow. We'll have 3 pigs at Cornell at once, and maybe actually 4 pigs at Cornell at once. So Louie was seen by a chiropractor and some TMJ issues, and the chiropractor loosened up his TMJ in one visit. It was awesome. And we just recently purchased a laser therapy machine to work on Louie and his arthritic joints, because a lot of these pigs... Hi, Morty.
Good morning. Hi, Morty.
Hi, Morty.
Oh, my gosh.
Hi, Morty, man.
How is Ella being? Let's sort of talk
I
about that.
I haven't heard. We're waiting for some tests today. She's gonna have a CAT scan and some X-rays today. So we're just hoping for the best. It's very stressful. She was doing amazing, and then she went lame. So she went lame on Saturday. I gave her some meloxicam, some anti-inflammatories, and figuring it would help, and nothing helped. So we rushed her right to Cornell.
Tell us a little bit, if you could, about, because Louie has joint issues. How common is this in the bigger pigs that they get joint issues and they get lame like that? How common is that?
Well, they're actually the smaller pigs, so those are potbellies. So it's unfortunately the way the animals are treated, there's a lot of variables that causes that, because mistreatment, malnourishment, obesity, all are factors in the way and how quickly they would get arthritic. Birdie, who was arthritic and got shots in his joints last year, was in great shape. And it's just the way their bodies are shaped. Unfortunately, it doesn't lend itself. We see it a lot more with the farm pigs, with the larger pigs, because they've been bred to get 250 pounds in 6 months so that they can be slaughtered. So there's no long-term thought about how their bodies are going to handle that kind of weight. Like King Carl, I'll find you King Carl. King Carl's 950 pounds, and he's pretty arthritic. But we do have the laser therapy, and so it really helps him. Katniss as well has arthritis, and Max, who is a baby, has hurt his leg, and so he'll probably be arthritic as well. Let me see if I can switch it around. So we have King Carl.
Yeah,
There's
go ahead.
And he's got arthritis. There's King Carl. There's baby Sarah.
Oh, Sarah, yes.
Regan. And there's Katniss. Now, Katniss and King Carl are arthritic. So, right, baby? So they're super amazing. But their bodies, he's 950 pounds. So their bodies are just not meant to handle the weight, which they've been raised. He's very tired. And I'll show you another pig that we just rescued this week. And here's Rue. Rue, say hi, Rue. Rue likes to talk. Hi, Rue.
Hi, Rue.
Hi, Rue. So, they're just so abused, whether it's physically or... Wait, I'm trying to spin you around here. You can abuse the animal by feeding it too much. That's abuse as well. So their bodies...
Well, and I wanted to ask you about that. I was born and raised on a farm, and farm animals, cattle, pigs, chickens, goats. So, I'm curious about people trying to have farm animals as pets. What is your comment on how that can go wrong and some of the things that you see?
Well, if you know what you're doing, it's amazing. I mean, if you know what you're doing, it's awesome. And to give an animal like that a forever life without slaughtering it is the greatest thing in the world, especially because it's uncommon for people to do that. But now as well. So you want to know how to do everything. And it's really, there's so much information on the internet. It's it would be really hard to not do it right. If you don't, but you also, if you're raising them to be with you for life, you don't want to look at an animal agricultural website to get your information, because those animals aren't meant to live forever. They're meant, everything that people eat are babies. As being on a farm, you know that. So a pig is 6 months old when it dies. I'm sorry, can you hear me or no?
I can, that's okay.
So, pigs are 6 months old. Cows are 2 years old. Veal is weeks old. Chickens are 6 weeks old. So if you look at an animal agricultural site, that's when your animals are going to get fat and not good information. But if you look at sanctuaries and stuff like that, that will teach you how to raise these animals as pets, they can live very, very long. Hi, baby girl.
Who do you have there?
We have a guest right here. We have Penelope. We just rescued Penelope.
Oh, gosh, yes. I was going to ask you about it. How is Penelope and Steven, right?
Steven's not doing that well, unfortunately. Steven's hooves are one of the worst hooves we've ever seen as far as cracked. So he's on a big hoof regimen from inside and outside. So supplements and conditioner and painkillers. You a good girl? Are you a very good girl? Are you a very good girl? As you can see, she's new and she's a sweetheart.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about your background. When I originally talked with you to do the sponsorships, and maybe Tommy, who's watching this, can start putting up the Patreon link and such.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I'm a Patreon member and then do some donations. How you got to this point. When you and I originally spoke, you had said, really up until that first pig that you rescued, that you really didn't have a whole lot of meaning to your life. And then this is something that just captured your heart, and this has really given you as a human being the ability to do something important, to do something loving, caring, that, you told me that day, when you leave the farm, you can't wait to get back. So maybe you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I've had businesses since I was 18 years old, a bunch of different, bagel shops, online stores. I was a ski instructor in Colorado. I've done everything with my life, and I just, why, you know, certain things I enjoyed, I just never felt like I had purpose. Hi. Sorry, we have a guest.
There we go.
And Evie. So, why there were times in my life I enjoyed myself. Stop fighting. They all want to get on camera. They're like, they just all. Hi, Hans. Hi, Cinderella.
Hello, everybody.
She's like, don't go. She's a little bit of a stalker on me. She doesn't like anybody near me. She is very attached to me, this little Evie girl. I picked her up in, where did I pick you up? I think it was West Virginia, New Year's Eve last year. Someone put some conditioner in her hair, so I'm a little greasy. So, you know, going through my life, you know, I just felt like I was existing and not enjoying. And when I started volunteering at a sanctuary and quickly realized that was what I was put on earth to do. And so I had a small printing business and marketing business in New Jersey, and I would go volunteer at a sanctuary every weekend and fell in love with it. And then I was just moving upstate New York. I was selling my business. I was moving up to state New York to figure out what I was going to do for a living when I got here. And the weekend I was closing on my house and my store, the sanctuary I was working at or volunteering at offered me a job, and then it's all history now. And it took me 48 years of my life, or about 45 years of my life, to discover what I was put on the earth to do and what was, you know, my real mission in my life. And I've never looked back. It's the greatest thing I've ever done. You know, I'm essentially retired because I don't take salary. I live off my savings. So you know, the big joke here is that I work harder as a retired person than I ever did in my life. I had to work 7 days a week. I haven't had a day off in 2 years.
Farm work is incredibly hard work. Taking care of farm animals and farm work is hard work.
Yeah, I mean, and people don't understand. It's not just snuggling pigs and animals all day. We build fences. I take care of animals. I'll be back and forth to Cornell, which is about 2 hours and 15 minutes away, probably 3 or 4 times this week alone. You know, and it's financially draining. I bet you our bill's going to be way over $15,000 this week. Right. And then when I get back, it's not like, it was just 6-7 hours in the car. I can go sit down and watch TV. It's like, no, if the chores, I don't do the chores. The chores has to be some time of day. Like today, after this, I go and mow, 25 acres. So I'll be on the tractor 5 or 6 hours, And so, but I literally enjoy every second. There's stuff I like better than other stuff, but it's better than working. It's better than working. And for me, it was like, I would go to work, I'd make money, and I'd go home. And that was what it was. I wasn't changing the world. I wasn't doing anything that was feeding my soul. I wasn't doing anything that was changing the world. I was printing stuff for people, wedding invitations, and honestly, don't take it the wrong way, but silly stuff like that. That stuff's silly. And now I'm making vegans, I'm making vegetarians, I'm having people rethink how they eat and how they live, and there's nothing better than that, while giving animals that have abused their whole life a second chance of life and a beautiful, long, happy, wonderful existence. Why educating?
It's amazing and always startling to see animals being abused. Maybe you could just talk a little bit about why pigs are being abused. I mean, all animals are, but why would someone, there's medical testing on pigs. You're familiar with that. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we have 6 pigs that were saved from a medical testing facility. They were being burned for medical product testing, and they contacted us about taking them. Now, pigs have a very similar DNA to humans, so it's very easy to test on them, even though that 98% of, animal testing is not resulting in anything. So they use pigs, 1, they're easy to get. 2, they have a similar DNA, so they hope for a similar result. For people, they're expendable. We eat them every day. People realize that their meat comes from a living, breathing soul, not just the grocery store. The has to stop at the grocery store. There's a terrible, terrible, tortured life that comes with that package you buy, with that bacon. It's a completely horrific existence. And I've seen every part of the process. I've been to slaughterhouses. I haven't been in slaughterhouses, but I've been in the capos where they're raising the pigs for slaughter. I've been outside slaughterhouses. I've gone undercover in the facilities that they raise the animals in. And none of the process is good. You know, when you see a cow being lifted by a backhoe by its back legs, you'll never be the same. I saw that in person.
I know. It's just awful.
So these animals are just tortured so much. And the sad thing is, you know, the disconnect with humans and not caring. There's some that don't know and don't want to know. There's someone that know and block it out, that think, you know, a ham sandwich or chicken wings are worth a life of torture for them for a minute on the lips. You know, it's just, it breaks my heart. And sometimes it gets incredibly discouraging that people are just so insensitive to the fact that you're eating a living thing. You wanted to live as much as you wanted to live. Talk to people about, well, they were free range. They were on, you know, a farm that they, you know, lived their whole life, which is only 6 months, wandering and eating grass and in the pool. And, you know, so they're humane slaughter, which is no such thing because they go to the same slaughter.
Exactly. Maybe you could talk to us a little bit about factory farming. I'm not saying that you would be an expert necessarily, but it's becoming more and more of an issue. And I think if people knew, they might, it certainly would factor into them buying beef, meat, pork, chicken, all of that. A little bit on factory farming, maybe?
Well, factory farming, I mean, obviously, it's just like people would consider it's like raising vegetables. These are raised in mass amounts. I went to a factory farm in Iowa that raised 150,000 pigs a year for slaughter. They have 300 sows that their gestation period is 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. So they can have 3 litters a year. The babies are with them for a couple of weeks, and they're raped. So they're artificially inseminated, and they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on this. And then they are in a gestation crate that they can't move, they can't sit up, they can't do anything. And they basically just nurse babies 24/7. And then when they're done with them about 3 years, they're dog food. So they don't even torture them for 3 years and then let them live their life in a pasture. They kill them. So we're going to abuse you, and then throw you out like trash and then cut your throat. So this one facility, which would raised 150,000 pigs a year for slaughter. They're kept in cement stalls with no bedding, no padding, and there's slits in the floor that goes down to their cesspool. So they live above their own waist their whole life, and they just get moved as they get bigger for 6 months. Once they reach another level, when they reach 250 pounds, which is in 6 months, they're sent to slaughter. They're given food 24 hours, 7 days a week to fatten them. The food they're given to has hormones and their own blood in it to fatten them quickly. And they can get sick, they can have tumors, they can do whatever. There's no vet care. When I talked to the one farmer I got Regan and Russell at, you know, I was questioning him. I said, you know, because what they do to the males is that they neuter them and they cut their tails off. They dock their tails and they cut their teeth so they're not sharp. They do that at days old with no anesthetic. And I asked him, I said, does a vet do that? He goes, well, it's under a vet supervision. I said, well, how often does a vet come out? He goes, about once or twice a month. I said, so you only neuter them once or twice? Oh, no, we neuter them every day. So they're under this delusion that these animals are here for them, not with them. And they're there to use and abuse. And the disconnect was so real. And this person, is responsible just for cows, because he had just for pigs, because he had cows too, 150,000 deaths a year, and his conscience was clear. I went to a slaughterhouse in North Carolina, and ready for this number. This number is outstanding. That killed 33,000 pigs a year. I'm sorry, a day. They run 7 days a week, 24 hours, 7 days a week, and they kill 33,000 pigs a day. Think about that number. If you had 33,000 of anything, if you had 33,000 toothpicks in front of you, you'd have a lot of toothpicks. But these are living, breathing souls that want to live, that are killed at such a rate that it's so freaking alarming that people are just okay with it. This is 33. Just try to grasp that number. It's so hard to grasp that.
I can't.
30,000.
And to think about all those souls that went out suffering, you know.
And they're individuals. They have individual personalities. If you follow me, you'll see that all these animals have individual personalities, that they want to live. They feel pain. They feel sadness. They feel happiness. Mm-hmm. And they want to live. They take the individual away from them, and they just make them a number. You know, mm-hmm. I have pigs from the testing facilities that have their number tattooed in the back of their neck. They got ear tags in that mean nothing. They're a number. They've never seen a name. They've never had any kind of gentle touch. They've never had any compassion whatsoever. And we're so disconnected. It makes me so frustrated and so sad that people will even comment on my page and be like, "What about bacon? What about bacon?" It's like, what about bacon? It's a torturous, horrible thing, you know?
Yes. So a lot of the people that are watching today and commenting and follow you and myself as well are vegans. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about your, probably your brought up as your childhood by your parents as a vegan. When did the moment click for you when you were like, wow, these are living beings. What am I doing? When did that click for you, and what was that like?
Well, I never was a big meat eater. I was never, as a kid, I used to like hamburgers, but was like a huge meat eater. But probably about 10 years ago, my girlfriend at the time was vegetarian, and I talked to her more about that, and she was living about 4 hours away from me in Vermont, and it was funny because I would go vegetarian for her, and I'd say I was a weekend vegetarian, and then it just kind of clicked, and, and she was always a vegetarian, and never really had a great explanation why she was vegetarian, but because it up in my head, I was like, and I started going to sanctuaries and visiting sanctuaries, and I had 2 dogs. And then all of a sudden I was like, what am I doing? And I looked at my dogs and I said, I'm going to go vegan. I'm going to try it for 30 days. And like 1 minute into being vegan, I'm like, oh, this is how I've always been supposed to live.
Right.
This is who I am.
When was that, Todd?
About 7 years ago.
About 7 years ago.
And I was vegetarian for 4 before that, and I never felt so good. There's people don't understand that there's a weight on your soul that you don't know it's there when you go vegan. It lifts off your soul. And it's usually at about the 30-day mark, you start like walking a couple inches above the ground because you're like, what the hell was that weight? I didn't know I had that weight.
And you also become more compassionate and more in tune with animals. When you stop eating animal products, you in turn become more in tune with animals. When you're eating animal products, you don't see them as the same. I'm not really sure what that connection is all about. But once you stop eating animal products, you see animals differently.
I got a message from someone, or like kind of an argument from someone, because if anybody that follows me and sees my lives every day, I don't really hold back my feelings much. There are times I do try to tame myself because I get on, a rant once in a while, and I do say that you can't love animals and eat them too. It's not a thing. You can't love something and eat them. You're a pet lover. You're not an animal lover. Right. And someone wrote me that, they raise animals and they have rescue animals and they completely disagree with me. And I'm like, it's really not up for discussion. It's more of a fact, not a discussion. You can't love an animal and eat them. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. You don't sit there and, kill your wife and husband and eat them, but you really love them. It's not a thing. And that's what I said to her. I'm like, this isn't up for discussion. It's not my opinion. There's facts and there's facts. There's a lot of things that I say that are my opinion. And I always say to them, but that's not one that's my opinion. That's a fact of life. You can't love something and kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a volunteer that lives with me, a special needs volunteer, and I take him to the doctor once a month. And I was talking to his nurse. And, and everybody likes to connect with me on a different level because they know, I love animals. I was brought up on a farm, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, yeah, we have cows. We had cows. We raised them. It was wonderful. We raised them for me, and I loved them so much. And, the day that we were going to kill them, I would spend the day in the pasture laying with them, and then we shoot them in the head.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost had a freaking seizure. Because in one part she's saying, I love them. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you cannot love these animals and shoot them in the head. It's not a thing.
Right.
And I was like holding back my, because my tendency is to jump all over and blah, 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 and like really get upset. And I was like, okay, I'm going to educate. It is our motto is education, rescue, rehabilitate, and educate. And that's really what we do. And I thought it was really important to take this time. And I said, that's not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she was an older woman. And I said, you can't love an animal. And she's like, and she actually had a little bit of is she going to stop? Probably not. But she definitely, I don't think she has animals anymore. But I explained what she did was not a good thing. And it was not. And she did have an aha moment. It was okay where I, slowed down, calmed down, and really took a deep breath and wanted to, communicate. Again, it's not my opinion. It's really not. It's a factual thing. And so people get defensive about it, and then people get open-minded. They either say that's not true and blah, 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 and want to fight me tooth and nail, and then people are like, oh.
And
So
for all those people where the light bulb comes on, that's, it's worth it. Not everybody is ready to stop eating meat. And that's, I think we know that, right?
We do know that. It doesn't make it easier on my soul or on my daily living because there's days that really I feel like I am disappointed and feel a struggle that am I doing any good? You know what I mean? What am I doing? My friend Mike Sturr from Skylands, when I was talking about opening up the sanctuary, and he supported me but thought I was crazy. And he has an amazing sanctuary, Skylands in New Jersey. And he said, Todd, opening up a sanctuary is like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon.
Right.
And that resonates with me a lot. But I do get messages on a daily basis that people have changed the way they eat because of my animals. Whether they stop eating pork, they stop eating meat, they go vegetarian, they go vegan. At least several times a day I get messages from people stating that their lives have changed because of my animals. And I do...
Now...
Okay, go on.
If somebody wants to come volunteer up there in New York in the sanctuary, can they come on up? Can a person?
Yeah, they just have to send us an email. You for a volunteer day, and it's a little crazy right now because we're just getting over being crazy from COVID, and the schedule here is kind of wacky. So people just have to email us. And we have certain days that you can volunteer. This weekend we're filled, but we got a volunteer day on Saturday to paint fences. And we always take people that are really experienced if they want regular volunteer shift. If they want to sign up for every Monday or once a week or once a month, as long as they know we want trusted people. We are. No one takes a salary here. We are volunteer based, including myself. So when we have people that know what they're doing, really amazing.
Now, like I said, I sponsor Louie and Faye, and so when you're a sponsor, like I've got a couple of these.
Yeah.
So it's on my fridge and on my truck. and I just love it. And you know, the notes that I get, and here's the you know, the card that I got and some pictures, and then I love this picture of you. Who is that? Which pig are you there with?
That looks like it's Faye when she was a baby.
Faye. Okay, that's right. And the card reads, "Dear Denise, thank you for your continued support of Faye and Louie. Your contributions allow us to provide Faye and Louie with food, medication, enhancement, and the highest standard of animal and vet care, not to mention the occasional cookie and plenty of fruit and veggie parties. Your support truly makes a difference. Our mission is to rescue, rehabilitate, and educate compassion. And we're incredibly grateful." And on the back is this. I just wanted to be able to let folks know, you know, there is a connection when you donate. Like, I really appreciated this. And I appreciate the magnets and such, and everything that you do. I'm wondering today if you can find the newest and the cutest. And what is his name? Winslow. I've seen a lot of pictures. Winslow around. Maybe we could, or don't wake him up if he's napping.
He's my cutie kid. Todd, where's Winslow? Is he okay? Maybe in the house. Hold on, let me go see if he's in the house.
Okay.
He kind of runs the show here now. He's hasn't to say the most perfect piggy you'll ever meet. He
He's adorable.
He actually sleeps in my bed.
Now, how big will he grow up to be?
500 to 600 pounds. So I'm enjoying it when I can. You know, yeah. Sarah, the piglet that lived in my room before, when I raised her, was a nightmare. She was just crazy, and now I guess I'm being blessed by an angel that is Winslow. And let me see if Todd chews here. Is he getting him? You got him? That's Lyle. I got a dog. Hi, Lyle. Todd. Let me see if Winslow's coming out. So he's a little bit of heaven, and the sweetest and potty trained. And
did you say he's potty trained?
Yeah, he's potty trained. No, bring Winslow out. Come on, Winslow. Yes, they're really, really incredibly smart. Come here, Bubbles. And it's funny because I do have, hold on, come on, Bubba. I've had 4 piglets in my room, and they basically are so much easier than Winslow. Come here, Bubbles. That's Candy, and here's Winslow. Hi, Winslow. Hi, Winslow.
Oh, no. Oh my gosh, he is adorable. And you have him potty trained?
Yeah, they're all potty. They're smarter than dogs. They're smarter than dogs. So they're the 4th smartest animal. Dogs are like the 14th smartest animal. So he's very easy to potty train. Now so at the end of my day, about 8 o'clock, I bring him upstairs. He runs around the farm right now. He'll be introduced to the big pigs in a few weeks, but he runs around the farm. You know, I go upstairs, I bring him upstairs with me, and then I put him in my bed with my little girl, Candy, my other newest rescue right here, Candy.
Yes, Candy, how's she doing, Candy?
Oh, she's grounded. She's doing great. You know, we think we got all the cancer. So I have 2 dogs, a few cats, and a pig in my bed at night. And he is like the most behaved out of all of them. And so he literally, you know, I fall, you know, we fall asleep, he goes to sleep, he nuzzles, he goes under the covers, and then about 5 a.m., I'll put him in his crate, and he has a wee-wee pad, and he pees on his wee-wee pad and goes back to bed for a little while, and then about 7 o'clock, he goes downstairs and goes and runs around and has breakfast and pees outside, and they're amazing. I mean, what I do usually is they have wee-wee pads, and then they learn to use them instantly. They're much smarter than dogs.
I just didn't know it was possible. And like I said, I grew up on a farm, and when I was younger, I didn't know they could be potty trained like that. That's incredible.
Well, you know, like cows, goats, and everything will pee and poop when they eat and they sleep, where pigs won't. Pigs are, you know, people are like, oh, don't you have to clean their stalls every day? We clean their stalls twice a year, and that's just to get the old straw out. because
they keep themselves clean, right?
Yes.
They keep themselves clean. Yes.
they don't pee or poop in their stalls. So people are like, that's so much work. I'm like, that's not the worst part of the work. We don't have to. We do it twice a year on volunteer days, and we clean. Right, Winslow? We clean out their stalls because they don't pee or poop inside.
Now, the other thing is when you look into a pig's eyes, it can be a little spooky because you can see that there's feelings and thoughts. If you look right into a pig's eyes, it's chilling sometimes because you can kind of see what's going on. It's almost
No,
like
100%. You know,
a person's
something-
eye.
Well, here's the story. This is a pretty good story. Then it shows you what's going on. And this has happened several times. So, unfortunately, we have a pig at Cornell. We have 2 pigs going to Cornell tomorrow. And then I'm waiting for a call back from Cornell now because I was in the pasture by myself yesterday. We were setting up the sprinklers. And I was by myself and there was no pigs near me. And Prim, one of our larger pigs, she's about 700 pounds, walked up to me and like looked in my eyes. And I'm like, and she's very close. I'm very close to everybody. And she's very sweet. And then she looked in my eyes and then walked and put her side on mine. I was on the ground. And then I rubbed her belly because her belly was right there. And I found a mass. So she was showing me that she has a mass. So I have to take her. It could be just a mammary tumor that's just benign. And hopefully and probably. But that's happened. Like, that happens a lot where they show me that there's something that I need to look at. Like, I had it with Jane this winter. It was really, really cold out, and there was so much snow here. There was like 3 and 4 foot of snow in the pastures, and Jane actually got tusked by one of the other pigs.
Yes.
And her whole stomach got cut open. Now, I was sitting in, and if I was inside, she would have died. I was sitting in the barn, like against the wall, and she just walked up to me and put the wound right in my face. She was in surgery in 2 hours. She had surgery in 2 hours on site. But if I wasn't there, if I just left the barn and I didn't go back for a couple hours, she would have died. And it happens all the time where they let me know that. And people
That
like,
something's wrong.
I was telling my friend about Prim yesterday. I said, you're not going to believe this. This just happened. And they're like, no, we believe it. We know you. We know your animals. And they know you. Literally, there was no pigs around me. She just wandered up to me, looked me in the eyes, and brought her side to me. And I rubbed her belly, and I felt it. It feels like a small football, like a dirt football. But it's not visible from the outside. You really have to palpate to find it. And she walked up to me and showed me her side, and I did it. And now, whether it's benign or whatever, but if it is something bad, it could very well save her life because we're getting early intervention is the best way to cure these kind of situations. And it was just, I was dumbfounded myself because I'm like, there's 30 pigs here and I feel each one of them all day, but I don't get in on their bellies. And, I do, we do, observation is the biggest part of my job.
Yes.
I have my eyes on every animal. There's 60 animals on the property. Every animal gets my attention every day, but I don't do like a full palpation of their body. That'd be a little redundant, And it just so happens. And then right after that, I felt everybody else's bellies because I got freaked out. But she's so freaking brilliant,
They are smart. You can, like I said, you look deeply into their eyes and something's looking back at you. It's just, it's really something else. So, well, I know that you're expecting a call from Cornell today.
Yeah.
Is this life threatening for Ella Bean or what is the status with that?
We don't know. I mean, so she has a club foot and it's probably shorter than the other foot. The biggest thing is because she puts so much weight on the good leg on the front, that if that good leg is bad, it's not going to be good. We're really praying it is because it was overused because she used that leg so much because of the club foot. Now we're working on a prosthetic, some things with her farrier to get the club foot, resolved. And she was doing so well walking around, but she didn't walk for, a couple of years because she was locked in a dying. And then she was severely abused. And so she didn't walk. So so that whole clubfoot side is atrophied.
Oh.
So great that she started walking here because it was building up the muscle. But unfortunately, we just don't know. Waiting to hear from them. They're doing X-rays. They're doing a few X-rays and a CAT scan today. So we're hoping for. I mean, it'd be great if it was nothing, but the best of the worst would probably be arthritis that could be treated with some pain pills and some injections into the knee.
And tell me, just give me a quick update. My sponsee, one of them, Louie. How's Louie doing?
Louis doing amazing. We're super excited because he goes to Cornell tomorrow for his knees injection. And that's basically where his liver was bad. So we'll be able to see how healed his liver is tomorrow. And that this is really the next enormous step. This is such a big step by getting the knee injections. It's synthetic joint fluid that Brutus had the same thing last year. Brutus was knuckling and couldn't walk for a week. And he got his knee injections last year, and that boy leaps and jumps and runs like a maniac. So this is really, we're at a pretty big point in Louis' care because we needed to heal the inner body and now the brain and everything. And now the big thing is if these joint injections work, because we take him out in a stretcher every day twice and walk around, but he can't make it from inside his barn to outside. If these work, he's going to be walking in and out of the barn. He's going to be feeding himself. I spend upwards of 4 hours a day with Louis. And this will actually free up my time considerably. I do enjoy it, but sometimes I have to get other stuff done. You know, on a good day, it's only about 2 hours with feeding him, taking him outside, laser therapy, massage therapy with him. But at this point, this is a really pivotal time in his care, and it's incredibly exciting.
Can you tell us about the Patreon? Because one of our viewers says, where can they go and donate? Maybe we should tell them about the Patreon. Where can they find your Patreon?
Everything is on our website. Could you hold on 1 second? 1 second.
Sure.
So, Patreon is on our website. Patreon is an amazing way of donating to, because it's a monthly donation. You can choose the amount, and it really allows us to make decisions on animal care rescues immediately. If we know how much money's coming in every month,
right,
we can make a decision on an animal. So it's like the most incredible thing for sanctuaries, because if we know like what we have our set bills,
right?
We have mortgage, we have our insurance, food, that's all set. But like our highest month for vet care so far has been $25,000. This month it's probably going to be, depending on what goes on, could be close to that. But in those situations, like when we're on the phone with the vet and they say, Louis' bill was $15,000, Morty's bill is $10,000, and they're like, oh, do you want to do another MRI? Could you do that? And we don't have to sit there and fundraise. Of course, we always have to, in certain situations, fundraise. But we can make those decisions without even thinking about it. We're like, this is how many patrons we have. This is how much we know is coming in. Do it. The biggest thing for me was getting to the point of taking an animal to the vet and to Cornell and not having a budget and not having a price on their life. So we are to the point where, because of Patreon, I might have 4 pigs at Cornell this week, and I won't have to say, well, we can't afford that for that one. We can afford this one. No, I'm going to say, do what you can do. Do what you got to do. So their lives will never have a price tag on it, no matter what. And that was my dream. And with Patreon, the dreams, it's a wonderful thing, because you could do $1 a month, you could do $100 a month, you could do $500 a month. You can do whatever you want. And it's a monthly donation that comes out of, your bank account, PayPal, or your credit card. And it comes to us automatically. And what's cool about that is you get anytime we're rescuing a new animal, you guys know a week and ahead of time.
That's right. We get some advanced pictures.
Yeah, it's really, really cool, because it's just, it's amazing. So you're part of this a little exclusive club that I would just share these kind of things. And then when we have events, Patreons get the first right to tickets and stuff like that. And again, it's as little as $1 a month. But that means, like, literally, it just makes us be able to be like, do it. I don't have to sit there. Okay, we got to raise $10,000 because, they need CAT scans, MRIs, and surgeries. Or I can say, okay, this is coming in. We got it in the budget. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And it's made us such a better sanctuary, and it's freaking wonderful.
Well, the other thing is I think I've been a Patreon member for a year maybe, and my credit card expired, and I didn't realize it because I was using a specific card. So then you had mentioned it, like you had said, oh, we've lost 20 Patreons. Please go in and check your cards. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I went in and mine had expired. So I had to re-up it and, you know, put in the new card expiration. So that happens too, because you're bringing new Patreon members on, but there's a churn at the other end. And, you know,
44. We lost 44 this month, and we average almost 2% that drop off and never come back a month. So it's like crazy, because it's like, you spend all this effort getting the new Patreon, and then and people don't even know, and they get several emails. I'm actually going to do a video this week. I feel bad doing a video that just please check it, because I have people like, I was a patron for months, and then I realized I haven't been a patron for 6 months. I'm like, whoa.
Right.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. What, Winslow?
Oh, is he back? Can we wrap this up on your happy face and his happy face too?
Come here, Winslow.
Would be just such a great way to wrap up. Oh, we
got his tiny hind. He's very busy. We got Wilbur here. We got Cinderella over there. We got Hans too over there. Hi, Wilbur. Hi, Wilbur. Hi, Wilbur.
Oh, it just looks so beautiful there. And I know that you work your butt off. I really know that you do. I hope that this helped in some way.
No, we raised $110. That's wonderful, and I can't thank you enough. And if you do it again soon, please let me know. We'll be going live, I think, about 4 or 5 o'clock today, with hopefully some updates with Ella Bean and other animals. So we can't thank you enough for putting us out there in our message of compassion. Hopefully it's heard.
All right, very well. Have a great day, Todd.
And Peg. Bye-bye.
See ya.